I found the 4 deadliest tricks to stop these dangerous pass pawns. In your games, it usually goes like this. You grab this pawn, your friend pushes his pawn, and you realize the rook can't go on these 2 squares to stop him. What do you usually do next? Give a check, of course. His king gets closer to his pawns, and you're super happy because you think you found a way to stop this pawn. Sadly, your friend pushes his second pawn. You take this one faster than light speed. All relieved, he pushes again. And suddenly you just realize that you won't be able to win anymore because his king is now too advanced. And even if you try to bring your king to the rescue, it's too late. And you hate yourself after that game because you were totally winning with white. Let me show you a new trick. The only way to win is if you create checkmate threats while bringing your king slowly down the board. If he pushes, checkmate. But your friend is smarter than this, so he'll move his king out of the way, here or there, which is the most beautiful variation, by the way. If the king goes down the board, remember to check the king first, and only now take this pawn. What's the difference? Can't he just push his pawn? And this rook can't access these 2 squares to stop him. There is a big difference here, because you have time with this check to put your rook behind the pawn. What are you gonna do next? You're gonna Pac-Man these 2 pawns. Very simple, and win the game. But wait, what if the king goes up the board? Now all you have to do is follow his king with your king, and when he pushes his pawn, stop him with your rook. But you have to be careful, because your friend is threatening to push this pawn next, and one of them will queen. But I have a trick here again for you. Just remember to put your rook on the square that forces this king to go up the board. Now your friend has 2 options, pushing this pawn or moving his king. If he pushes, I want you to let him get his queen. And surprise, checkmate. But what if he moves his king instead? The trick here is just to keep threatening checkmate and follow him with your king. Do you see what this does? It allows you to bring your king closer to these dangerous pawns while threatening checkmate at the same time. It's like a king double attack. Weird, I know. And now your king can control both pawns and you win. I found the most terrifying tricks to be able to stop these passed pawns in your games. How do you stop these pawns from queening? Step number 1. The first thing you think about is capturing this poor bishop left defenseless here. But then your friend pushes his pawn and you realize that you are doomed. You can try to control this promotion, but now remember this. Once 2 passed pawns reach the 6th rank, a rook alone cannot stop them anymore. So, being greedy and grabbing this one is a blunder. Step number 2. Usually the best way to get to these pawns is by using checks. And here is true, we have this check that allows us to grab this pawn, but it's not that simple. What's about to happen is mind-blowing. I'm sure you're thinking that you're totally lost after this pawn move. How do you stop this pawn now? Some of you are thinking about the ladder technique, but it's more complex with this bishop being here. Let me show you. Give a check. This king has 2 choices, go up or down. If he goes down, you draw the game very easily. All you have to do is just pin this pawn to the king and then sacrifice your rook for an easy draw. But wait, what if he goes up the board? I'm sure some of you think you know the answer already, but forget that there is a bishop that changes everything. Keep checking, because this king can never come to the b file. Why? Because you would take the bishop, and when he queens, you check, and you manage to stop the pawns. But what if this king keeps going up? We check again. And now, careful. If you check again, he now covers the check with his bishop, and he'll queen on the next move and win. So, if he can't check, and the rook is not able to control this square, how come white is not losing here? Let me know if you found this terrifying trick, because here are your friends who think they're winning, not with Chesscape. Sacrificing that rook, because when he takes it, it's just a stalemate and a draw. I'm sure you would resign here with white, thinking this pawn is unstoppable and queening in just 2 moves. Your knight is stuck because this pawn would just take it, and your king needs a private jet to be able to stop this one. So how are you not losing with white here? Start pushing your pawn, and now your friend has a choice to make, either being impatient and pushing their pawn, or trying to control this pawn with their king. Let me show you what happens when they push. It is super scary, because he's about to queen on the next move. How are we not losing this? Simple. Sacrifice your knight. And no, you cannot queen because it's a check. He takes your knight, check. But when you take back, he cannot stop your pawn from queening as well. And this will end in a draw, unless you blunder your queen. Please don't. But wait, what happens if our friend sees this and decides to bring his king here instead? Did you shake his hand already and give up? I hope not, because we're not losing this. No way. Ready? Sacrifice your knight. He takes your pawn, and again we look totally lost here, because this knight cannot come back on time to stop him. But I have a trick for you. Put your knight on h6, and when he pushes, all proud of himself, now move your knight on g4, and he queens. Disaster? Nope. It's a draw and a beautiful stalemate.